Well, in the meantime, while I wait for parts and pieces to fix my Neon here, I will be putting a fiberglass hood that I got from a buddy of mine on my Chevy S10 here. So I will post videos of that because we're planning on wrapping my entire truck here, and I'll have a video for you guys to show you how to do wrap. So stay tuned, everyone. Well, as you can see, these are the posts for my locking pins on the front here. I just kind of tacked them in place real quick just to keep it from spinning around, leaving it like that. This side I had to do a little bit more modification on because obviously, still had to be able to fill the washer fluid reservoir. Duh, right? So basically just lop the stock hinge off a little bit, whatever. It's a lemon truck, who cares? Let me get out of the shadow. Get out of the way here so my shadow doesn't reflect on anything. I just put a little tack on the back side of the hinge there to keep it from moving anywhere, keep the hood from flopping up and down like I was having before. And, same thing here, just did a quick little tack. Yes, the battery was removed. So, for safety purposes, obviously, I just put it back in just now. Anyways, this is the other hinge, same thing. Just did a quick little tack right there. Yeah, I know, it's not pretty, but it works. Who cares, right? And then put my other hood pin right there. So just drilled some holes through it, through the stock hinges. Just quick and dirty, makes it real easy. Unfortunately, I was trying to utilize this setup, put like pins or whatever on the back here, like so. Ow, that's still hot. So then that way I could still use the hinge to move the whole hood up and down. Unfortunately, the cowl, it says a 2-inch cowl hood, doesn't quite work that way. If I wanted to do that, I would have had to do a lot of modification work to the hinges, and well, to be honest, it's a $1,200 truck. I don't really care that much. All it does is just get me to and from, and get me to hardware stores and auto parts stores, junkyards, things like that. So, anyways, quick and dirty. Like I said, while we're waiting on parts for that guy to put this guy kind of back to par, or better shape rather, just going to be working on this guy and a few other projects I got, so keep on watching. Put my nice fancy locking pins here on the front, and then I just decided to put normal hinge or normal pins here, hood pins on the back side. I will be working on getting the bed here off so I can sand some of my cab corners. As you can kind of see right in here, there's a little bit, there's some Bondo work here, obviously. But on the back side, in between the bed and the cab, there's a couple of spots that are kind of rusty. So in order for the vinyl to stick better, I decided I would just take this guy off. I've got some work that I need to do anyways, on the underside. That, and I got another bumper here to replace this one that's all broken or rotting out rather from the rust. New bumper. I got a hitch for it that I got at a junkyard a while back anyways. And then I also just recently picked up some new wheels for it. So just to kind of show you guys the wheels here, these are actually old street signs that I'm going to use for skid plates for the Neon. Stay tuned for that one, for that video, because for these guys here, I will be definitely doing some interesting things with my MIG welder to weld all that together, and I'll have videos and show you guys what I did for that anyways, but that's another video. But these are the wheels that I picked up for my little S10 here. Try to spruce her up a little bit. I'm going to take, these tires are going to come off and then I'm going to put the ones that are on there already on here now, and put them back on these guys, polish these up a little bit. I'll give you guys a video for that. Alright, so if anybody was ever had one of these watching and was wondering how you get the bed off, it's actually fairly simple on these trucks. So first you're going to disconnect your taillight harness here. So the rest of your taillight harness, this guy here going all the way up to your tail lights and everything there, that actually all stays with the bed. So you take that connector off, disconnect it rather. Ugh. You take this ground off right here. So once you disconnect this and your ground right here, now you're gonna go and let me readjust myself here. There's some 15mm bolts. One here, one right there, and there's a few more down. There's one there, over here, and one same thing on that side over there. Kind of difficult to see from the back side here. And since I have the long bed version of it, I believe I have to take some bolts off right there and over there on the other side. Yes, I know, my exhaust doesn't come all the way out, so that I'm working on currently. Well, we'll be working on in a little while. That'll be another video for you guys, but anyways. So that rust, I don't know if you guys can see that through the video here, but those little rust spots right there in the corner on this side, that is primarily what I'm trying to get rid of before we vinyl wrap it. But, before my buddy and I vinyl wrap it anyways. But, I do have some, oh, that's interesting, that's loose. I have some work that I needed to do with the fuel system on this truck, so it just kind of was beneficial to take the whole bed off. So I will just take the whole thing off instead, and my buddy and I will do the cab first, and then when I'm done with that, we'll go ahead and do the bed here. So hang tight. progress on the truck here. I managed to put the newer wheels that I got for it on. I don't know, it didn't come, the guy I got the wheels from, he didn't have the center caps for it, so I ended up actually taking them off of a car that I'm kind of restoring in the moment. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see that car anyways. I just figured I'd focus primarily on the crappier vehicles I got. But I got two classics that I'm also working on, which are pretty neat little cars too in their own right. But yeah, just let me know if you want to see any of those videos, or see any videos about them rather. But anyways, I'm gonna do kind of a quick little walk around. Got the newer wheels on there. I put the tires from my old set of wheels, or the factory ones, and put them back on the chrome here. I didn't film me sanding away some of these rust spots. As you guys can probably tell, there was one, or there were a couple, and you can kind of see them. You can see the pitting that the rust created through the paint there. But I did manage to get those all sanded off. There is, I painted this rust stuff that's supposed to convert rust to kind of like a primer almost. It's from Duplicolor. It's a pretty interesting product. It turns if it's rusty, it turns that area black. I still gotta kind of throw a little bit of paint over top of this, but as you can see, it's now black instead of that orangey color. It's supposed to just help prevent the rust from getting any worse, really, which it does. I've used it on other things before. It works for a while, especially if you don't have it covered like I do. I'm still waiting on the vinyl wrap for this guy. It's been almost a little over 3 weeks now, actually. I'm gonna have to contact them again. And I did realize that I didn't make any kind of video of me trying to polish these wheels up. I apologize, but there's a few little spots on them still that got a little bit of like surface rust on them that I'll have to come in and fix. But I'll make a video then for that, so see if any of you guys are into that kind of thing and want to see it. Obviously earlier in the video you saw that I took the bed off. That was 8 bolts, so there's obviously one there, one directly across there. Actually this one here, somebody took this bed off or whatever at one point in time, broke the bolt that went there, so that's stuck inside the bed. I don't know how I'm going to get that out, but I'll probably get that out. One right there, and then there's one right here, directly across over there, and then the ones that I didn't see right away that were kind of hidden right here in the very back of the frame, basically right where the tail light harness and stuff goes in. So right there and right there. I did notice too that my frame here is just got surface rust on it, really. But I do have a rubberized undercoat that I bought from a company called Eastwood to do for another project that I have quite a bit left over. So I'm probably gonna throw some plastic down on my driveway here and get the undercoat gun out and reshoot over top of the frame as much as I can here to try to just make it look a little nicer, help keep it lasting a little bit longer. I mentioned I had some other work to do for the fuel system in particular, and that's I already started doing that. I figured you guys didn't really need to see a video on how to replace a breather hose on this, but you could do it with or without the bed on there. It's just easier in this case to not have the bed on. But anyways, the filler neck spout here, rubber section, was dry rotting and kind of cracking a little bit. I didn't like that, so I decided to replace it, put new clamps on it and everything. This is the breather hose for your tank, your primary one anyways. You got one for your fuel, the fuel system, or the fuel injection system as well, which is this one here, because there's no there's no pressure on the return slash venting sections, or very little anyways, I should say, rather. And so they usually don't have clamps, and they're usually a fairly small diameter line. But part of the reason why I decided to do all this too was because the previous owner, or the owner before that even, replaced the fuel pump, which is the reason why I think that bolt is broken. Either way, they did kind of an interesting job here in that they used a double worm gear style, or I'm sorry, they used a worm gear clamp, and they used two of them because the fuel injection pressure is a little too much for just one worm gear clamp. So I don't know if you guys know that, or know this. There's a specific clamp called a fuel injection clamp, or a fuel injection hose clamp. It's designed to put pressure 360 degrees around your hose. Unfortunately, these worm gear clamps don't do that. I mean, they do, but the primary amount of pressure that they apply is at the very top, where you screw it down, and 180 degrees right below it. So here and right on the bottom, basically, is where most of your pressure is being held. Now, that works for pretty low pressure kind of things, works just fine. But for high pressure purposes, you can get leaks that pop out the sides, right? I've had it happen to me before on another car. It's really annoying. But they make a specialty hose clamp that it looks real similar to a worm gear style clamp, and that's got a little screw kind of thing, but it's got this little band that wraps all the way up and around it, and it tightens in one spot. So basically, it's almost like those little pinch clamps on for your radiator hoses and stuff. And those actually, believe it or not, besides being annoying to get on and off, they actually serve a purpose. I can explain that later if you want. But anyways, I don't like this. It's kind of old and dry rotted looking, or starting to anyways. These clamps, yeah, no, that's just a disaster waiting to happen. If one of those clamps breaks, lose fuel pressure, whatever. Anyways, I'm going to be replacing the fuel pump and stuff. I'll make a video of that. And actually, I do have a worm gear, or, wow, can't speak today apparently. I have a set of clamps here, fuel injection hose clamps, to show you guys. This right here. See that? That, believe it or not, puts most of your pressure evenly across the hose. And that's pretty crucial for a fuel injection setup. These are all my parts and pieces that I'm planning on putting on in the process of having the bed off and stuff. Like, here's my new fuel pump and the clamps and everything for it. So keep on watching, and I'll show you how to do all that too. Oh yeah, I also did take the side view mirrors off for the vinyl wrap to make it a little better, I think, because if you can tuck the vinyl up underneath something and then bolt it on, it'll help keep it tight, keep it from flaking off and coming off anyways. So but this isn't like the greatest prep job, obviously. I'm not planning on taking it all the way down. I just primarily wanted the majority of my rust spots to go away, or to sand them out rather. So, but when the vinyl wrap wears out, which it will, and supposedly if you take good care of it, you can get it to last like roughly 10 years or so, which for me is pretty good. I have no idea if this truck will still be around in 10 years. Never know. But in 10 years, if the vinyl wrap starts to fail, then maybe I'll look into restoring this and actually probably turning it more into like a mini truck. Maybe do like a V8 and or electric conversion on it. That'd be kind of cool. But that's neither here nor there at the moment, so